now rocking with TDF everything. Spoiled rotten.
Spoiler alert.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hey.
It's me, Daniel,
And this is Ben.
on Spoiled Rotten. And today, we are spoiling the first 4 episodes of Season 2 of Fallout. That's right. By the time this comes out, 5 episodes will be out, but we have not seen the 5th episode. So, you're going to have to just enjoy our takes on the first 4 episodes.
Yep. And that's also why I don't do predictions anymore.
It's hard to predict some of the stuff in these shows these days.
Well, I think that's a good thing. If it was that predictable, it'd be like, oh, man, should I be a writer?
I agree in theory. Sometimes in practice it feels like, well, what are we doing?
That's true.
I don't mean that for this show.
There are certainly shows that have come out recently that have had that attention and that criticism for, but guess what? It was not predictable.
No,
that was
not.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like we both enjoyed season 1. I feel like you enjoyed it a lot more. This isn't to downplay it, but just I am excited to hear how you feel about season 2 because I feel like you were very high on season 1.
No, yeah, absolutely. I claimed it was probably the best video game adaptation to TV series of all times to date, and all that kind of stuff. I do have a lot of love for Fallout 3. Didn't get through New Vegas or Fallout 4 just because by the time I started playing that game, I was like, oh, it's the same game in a different location. Fallout 3 was in... Yeah, basically. I mean, don't get me wrong. No, I'm going to get a lot of hate for that comment. It is gameplay-wise essentially the same game in different locations. However, for the people that love the lore and love figuring out those small things, yes, you get to know more about Vault-Tec, you get to know more about the world that was before the war. You get small little revelations of that, but from a gameplay perspective, which is, from my perspective, the whole point of these games, and the reason why this season is going to be so interesting, because the game, this season is basically modeled after the story of New Vegas, which, if you play through, there's multiple different endings based on the decisions you make and all that kind of stuff. So to see where they land with the end of this season is going to be very, very interesting, because it basically determines the what actually happened within that. Like, there's a real timeline as opposed to being like, your altruistic moves and all that, like the Paragon system and all that kind of stuff. It created the best possible ending, and there's going to be a definitive ending, I think, this season. But again, not
that
predicting anything anymore.
But it makes sense what you're saying. It's a TV show. It doesn't really make sense to be like, well, not that TV hasn't tried it, or at least streaming hasn't tried it. But I don't think it would make sense to have it be like a ending you feel like has some kind of sway one way or the other depending on choice. It should feel like this was the complete story.
Yes.
So I feel like you're right to assume that the TV show version of this will just have a definitive ending.
Yeah, and based on our 3 leads, we have one that's trying to be all good, one that's clearly leaning into evil, and then one that's just riding the fence and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure each one of those endings for those characters is going to represent those endings within the game itself. Maybe, but again, not trying to predict, just trying to enjoy, analyze, and go through what we have in front of us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we know that there's going to be a season 3, so
yep.
I feel like when you say there's a definitive ending, it's not like you're saying, and everything will be wrapped up neatly. It just won't be. I feel like you've already come up with the idea of how they can have their cake and eat it too with these 3 leads.
That's what I think. Yeah. And then my prediction is season 3 is probably going to a different area.
Yes, I would hope so.
Most likely Boston.
Oh, well, there you go. See. I don't know anything about Fallout, so I just assume you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I of the two of us, I can confidently say that. To Fallout fans, absolutely not. I am a novice, and I am not willing to deal with their
You like what you
encyclopedic logic of the lore, for sure.
Yeah, so season 2, first 4 episodes. I need to be completely transparent. This season is not capturing my imagination, so I don't remember episode by episode. I just know the general things that have happened in these first 4 episodes.
Okay, same over here, and a lot of the reason why is because I feel like they have reverted back to some of the same old storylines that they did in season 1, and to me, I'm like, it doesn't undo the process, the character growth of season 1, but it does to a certain degree. And really, I'm looking at Ella Purnell's character more than anything else.
I think all three of them are really boring me.
Yes.
Not even boring. I shouldn't say boring. Frustrating me. All 3 of them. I think all 3 of them have flashes of like, oh, that's what I liked from season 1. But all 3 of them, Walton Goggins, Ella Purnell, I don't know the other guy's name. I'm going to look it up. I'm not just going to give up on it. But
Maximus.
Yeah, but like actor-wise.
Aaron Moten.
Yes, there we go. I think, as you said, it feels like they've regressed. Or the best way I could put it is I don't feel like this season set them up to, if they're going to play the like, oh, people like when they do this, I don't feel like they've set them up to do those in interesting situations. It just feels like retreading. And I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like they're doing it in a new setting that's like pushing something. I'm just like, yeah, I feel like we've already figured this out. I don't know why you're acting like this.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a scene and all that kind of stuff that is very, very important throughout this. But at the end of the day, I'm like, season 1 had that to the pretty much exact same beats. So to me, I'm like, okay, the main characters, like you said, are frustrating. The side characters, the ones in the vaults, Norm, all those that's where there's actual progress of their characters, and that wasn't undone. So that's the interesting thing to me.
I was going to say one storyline from season 1 I did not care for at all was her brother, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of interested in the brother, what's going on with the brother right now.
And I think a lot of that is because he's not getting a lot of screen time, so there's a lot more mystery behind it, but also the idea...
He's with people now. Like, before, he was just, like, learning from that brain in a tube, and I was like, this is not for me. And when I say this, I'm not saying any of this is inherently bad. I am fully aware it's just not working for me.
Yes, and I will agree. It's disappointing me the first 4 episodes that I've seen so far. I'm hoping it changes towards the end of and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, I feel like it is the side characters and the villains that are getting more of the writing spotlight. Like Kyle MacLachlan's Hank McClane is like, oh yeah, you're straight up just continuing to do evil stuff, and you're progressing more. Stuff. Exactly, but with Lucy and the Ghoul and Maximus, I'm just like, y'all went back to episode 1, season 1 level of stuff.
Well, so Maximus, just to make it super clear, I'm not going to be going in order if people are looking for that. Maximus has like a portion of an episode with Kumail Nanjiani, and I'm like, I want this, and then it's resolved, and I was just like, oh no.
Yeah.
And when I say it's resolved, like, I'm sure there's going to be knock-on effects of him killing Kumail Nanjiani, who came to be like, hey, you guys are starting a civil war, and trying to sway Maximus to, like, just let me have this thing and we can avoid all this. And I'm not even saying he was right, but I liked this new challenge for Maximus. But then Maximus just kills him when he attacks the Johnny Pemberton character. I don't know who's
the mutants.
Ghoul.
The mutants and all that kind of stuff.
I was just like, oh, okay, well that's done. All right, well, now that was the only thing keeping me interested in the Maximus storyline. Yeah,
the Maximus storyline to me is really, really weak, and I think a lot of it is because Maximus himself is trying to do, I'm going to change the system from within kind of perspective, and I think you and I have very strong opinions on That doesn't work. You just become one of them and enable the system and all that kind of stuff. So
he's not talking enough. Like I think I don't know what's going on inside of him. It just feels like it's a performance that, or at least for me, it feels like anything that I feel like is going on under the surface, I already knew from last season.
Yes.
So it just feels like an inert storyline.
I very, very much agree. Until the Kamal Nanjiani stuff came in, and then it was just like, oh, I guess they couldn't afford to have Kamal come back for more episodes. And that might be incorrect on my part. Who
maybe
knows?
He'll be back, but
maybe.
I just feel like they hit the ceiling of where that is. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he comes back and now it's like he's got a second chance at this relationship, but they could have slow played that.
I 100% agree they could have slow played that, but for the purpose of the plot is like, yeah, this season is clearly about civil war, and for a lot of different factions and a lot of different places and competing interests and all that kind of stuff. So the idea of like, what are the more interesting characters, which is Macaulay Culkin's character coming into this, is just like, oh yeah, okay, this is slightly interesting. I don't think we've seen the last of him, but at the same time, it's just like, if we do, I also wouldn't be surprised either, because a lot of what is going on in those kind of things is being told to us through exposition.
Yeah,
and
well, it's just a lot of him explaining things, and I'm like, I don't know that you're 8 years old anymore, so I'm not really captivated by you just talking.
Right.
I'm like, oh, let's do something else. I was really looking forward to the Macaulay Culkin stuff, and then I got there. I like the joke about them, like, I mean, you're dressed like Romans. What are you doing? And they're like, what are you talking about? I enjoyed that joke.
Yeah.
But then it still had to give way to the exposition that I did not care for.
Yeah. I think the thing that I'm really enjoying of this season so far is the comparison to the real world events that we're experiencing. Like, the Roman stuff is like, that's not Roman. We can think of other Roman things that have been claimed and all that kind of stuff. But so that's what I think is pretty interesting. Obviously, right now, the threat of civil war is very, very much real in certain parts of the world and all that kind of stuff. So the idea of that being in this is interesting to me, but that was always a part of the game. So it's just like, this appears to be a lot of happenstance that it's drawing those parallels.
It's not coming together for me. So, like, you're saying this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that is definitely in there. And I'm just like, I hope this is. I think it also probably works for people who played the games and because it's not really doing anything for me. I'm just like, this must just be that I don't care about this world.
Yeah, I mean, I played the games, and I can echo the statement that you're making, is the idea of like, this season doesn't have as much gusto as last season, where like every episode you're like, oh my god, this is cool, this is great, this is all, and I'm saying that as someone that enjoyed the games. At this point, all I can see is there's an Easter egg from the game, but none of it actually means anything.
Yeah,
to the story that they're trying to tell.
I'm trying to see if it all came out at the same time last time, and I think that helped the show.
I
don't think this week to week is working.
Not for this show, which is really weird to say for someone that thinks this is the best video game adaptation.
Well, you were basing that off of season 1. That doesn't mean that.
Yes,
that doesn't mean you can't change or like say that season 2 is falling short.
Oh, I definitely have a very different opinion of season 2 so far, because again, I feel like they're just giving us more of the same stuff that they did in season 1. And that is a mistake, considering how they could lean into certain things that they're dealing with, the Mr. House thing and all that kind of stuff. I think those things are legitimately very, very interesting. And I'm saying interesting because I never finished New Vegas. So to me, I'm like, cool, this is my way of not having to play it. Yeah, and it is something new to me.
Here's a stupid question that I know the show has answered. Is Justin Theroux Mr. House or not?
He is.
Okay.
He is, which is why it's like, why would you go ahead and announce that if you're meaning to make this into a whoops surprise moment?
This is part of my problem, is that
Yeah.
he starts off the season and then I'm like, okay, so he's the bad guy, and then like, we need you to look into Mr. House, and I'm like, but I already know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean that they can't be like, no, he's really doing this thing. It's just, I don't feel like there's much mystery to him.
No.
He felt like he came pre-packaged, and that was an interesting scene where he offers the people money, but just puts, I don't know why that guy walked up to him like that, where he just put the whatever transmitter in his neck, and obviously that transmitter we've seen throughout this season so far. So I was like, I guess he was never going to give them money, but also just, I don't know, this doesn't feel compelling to me. I don't really care about him.
Yeah, and the I don't know what they're trying to get to with the mind control chips. I really don't, because at the end of the day, it undermines the whole, like you're pointing out, it undermines, oh, he's the actual big bad of this. I'm like, no, then we know someone's pulling the puppet strings, like, you know what I mean,
Or
like behind the
telling him
scenes.
to sell these things, or not sell them,
Yeah.
telling him to just put this in people.
Yep.
And I'm just like, oh, okay, well, I don't care, I guess. And this sounds very negative. I'm not trying to say that this show is bad. I am watching it, and it just kind of leaves me as soon as it's done, because I'm not feeling sucked in.
Yeah. I think I'm feeling the same way, and if there were more episodes dropped at the same time, I think I would feel probably a little bit different towards it.
I think it just needed to come out all at once.
Yeah.
Especially the first 2 episodes made me feel like they don't have enough story.
Yes.
This doesn't feel like
Absolutely.
They got 8 episodes, but they don't have 8 episodes worth of story.
To me, episode 1 and 2 should have been dropped together. They weren't.
No.
That sucks. Because at least at that point, you're just like, oh, well, it's back. We have a 2-episode, whatever, for promotional reasons. But it's just like, oh, that's your episode 1.
I was surprised that
kind of a bummer.
It was week to week. I know that's where everyone's going,
Yep.
but I think then that means you need to revisit how writers' rooms and TV shows were made back when they were week to week, because it feels like too many shows are doing the binge model, but then breaking it up so that content can be available, as opposed to actually doing traditional TV.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And that's why I very much agree with, like, yeah, the whole season should have just dropped, because the week-to-week model doesn't make sense in that sense where not... Like, aside from the fact that there's that one moment I can think of Maximus being like, I'm pretty sure I just started a civil war, and then it cuts. Yeah. And I'm like, that's a good cliffhanger for leaving me wanting more for next time and all that kind of stuff. But that didn't exist in episode 1. That didn't exist in episode 2.
Yeah, that should have been episode 1.
Yeah.
And then you can feel like he's just at the end of season. Like, episode 1 feels like an after that, oh fuck, we forgot about Maximus. Yeah, here you go. Here's some Maximus stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, did he die or something? I don't remember him dying, but he seems like he's dead because they have no interest in weaving him into this story.
They really, really don't.
And then he was at the end. I'm like, oh, this feels like a post-credit. It doesn't feel like a full thought for an episode.
Yeah, it feels like, okay, cool. The whole Lucy and Ghoul story here, we're done for episode 1. Let's give you a little bit of Maximus for episode 2 and all that kind of stuff. And that's literally what they did. And I'm like, that's not good writing. That's just a seasonal drop model, like you said, divided into week to week, which isn't compelling right now.
No.
Because I feel like, genuinely, my plan for this is, okay, once the finale comes out, I'm probably going to rewatch the whole season again and probably have a different opinion of a lot of these different things.
Like, I'm sure it'll play better when you can just watch it at your own pace.
I completely agree.
Well, I mean, this is kind of a bummer. I was hoping you were really enjoying it, because I think this just might be a me problem. I don't even think they did anything wrong. I just am not vibing with it.
No, I think if they did do anything wrong, it's like you eloquently put. It's just that they need to revisit the weekly release model and how that actually effectively changes the writing goals of each episode, right? That is a good observation because that's exactly how I feel. I go from episode 1, I'm like, that was cool, kind of a weak season opening, but let's see what else they got. Episode 2 was just like, oh, I feel the exact same way. This is really a bummer, to the degree where a show that I like so much, I'm finding my ADHD going wild and being like, oh, let's check my phone, let's do this. And I'm just like, that's not great.
It's
that's
so
not
hard for
great
me
at
to
all.
like keep my phone down. Where there's like I feel like there's so many shows and movies recently where I've been able to just like put my phone away and focus. But this show, I'm just like, I don't. And it is that feeling of like I want something else to happen right now.
Yeah.
Which I just chalked up to a me problem.
Yeah. Like, because to me, the fact that we're at episode 4 and not at New Vegas yet is just one of those things where I'm like, this is dragging on so long. Like, what are we doing if we're not already at New Vegas?
Yeah. I think the other thing is I don't find it as interesting to do flashbacks with the ghoul now. I think before it was nice to be like, oh, this is what he was and this is what he's turned into. Now it feels like they kind of dried up all those ideas in season 1 and they're like, well, I don't know, he's got to do something in season 2. And I'm like, no, he could just be the ghoul. I don't know, like Walton Goggins is on like 4 TV shows. I don't think he's hurting for like FaceTime that way.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I just think the one perspective that Goggins' character of the ghoul provides in this is like, oh yeah, that's what the war that led to the nukes being dropped, the Sino-American War, that's what it looked like. But even then, it's just like, you're just giving us one scene, and that scene is really inconsequential because then we get a Deathclaw. And the Deathclaw is just there, and what's the point?
I think I should say more specifically, it feels too much like 2 separate characters. I don't see them going towards him turning into the ghoul. It just is like, no, this is just him when he wasn't the ghoul, which I don't really think helps him when he's the ghoul. Then I'm just like, you're just this now. And it doesn't feel the way it did in season 1 where everything was new and you do get to feel like, oh man, like look at how happy he was and then how disillusioned he became. And now, like, so even if he didn't turn into a ghoul, he'd still be pretty heartless based on what he's went through. But now you're like, but we did that all in season 1.
Yeah.
And what you're doing with him in season 2 isn't making me have a deeper understanding. It's just more activity as the non-ghoul.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like world building. It's just more activity.
I very, very much agree with that. I think one of the stronger ways to do it, not to rewrite everything, but if there was less of the ghoul's backstory in season 1 and we're finally getting the backstory in season 2, that would be really, really compelling and really, really interesting to me. Because I think
you're learning more.
Yeah, and not only that, it's just like now we have Lucy's character fully fleshed out and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Because really, it's just Lucy's character, there's no backstory there. There's a backstory for Maximus, and we get a little bit more of that. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, okay, that's just.
I think in season 3 and 4, in episodes 3 and 4, at least they give Lucy opportunities to have her backstory mean something in the present. Like when she's like, well, I'm a history teacher, so I know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And like, or yeah, there's just multiple times where she's able to be like, sure, you think that I like was just sheltered away, but like it meant I had time to like look into this kind of stuff and talk about it. So I'm able to see in the real world how this plays out. And that is interesting, but it's like just spurts and starts here in the last 2 episodes they had, which to be fair, still is within the first half of the season, but I'm like, why are we holding that back from the first 2 episodes? This should be something that is present throughout.
Yeah, like I would have thought by episode 4, like I said earlier, we would have arrived at New Vegas already, and that things would have started to get going, especially for the midpoint of this season. Because there's only 8 episodes, right?
Yeah, there's only 4 more episodes left.
So now I feel like the last 4 episodes is either going to be very, very rushed, or my worst case scenario, they finally get to New Vegas at the end of the season. And then, next season's all about New Vegas. I'm like, what the hell? That would suck so
this
bad.
would make it feel like a whole filler season. But
yeah,
the other thing that I guess doesn't bode well for the show, this isn't the show as well, is I was like, yeah, this was like 2 years ago, and I'm like, no, they just put it out a year ago. Like,
yeah.
I'm just like, I'm the one that feels, because I was like, well, season 3 probably comes out next year. That'll be a quick turnaround. I'm like, no, it'll be probably the same kind of turnaround as season 1 and 2. So really, I mean, it is technically over a year since it came out April 2024, and season 2 came out December 2025. It is technically over. But if you look at it on a calendar, you're like, well, there's 2024, 2025, and then 2026. 3 seasons, 3 years. But like, it does just feel like, it feels so long ago that we saw this, and I know it's not really that long ago.
This is why I blame Game of Thrones in saying that, like, and now more shows are doing it too, where it's like, there's multiple years between seasons and all that kind of stuff.
But
and I'm
this
just
show's
like,
not doing that, and you're it still feels like multiple years.
That's what I mean. It's just like they're setting that expectation, and then that's what I automatically think, because I'm like, wait, did we do this last year? And then I'm like, was it the year before? Well, I'm second guessing myself in that.
To be fair, we did 2024, so it has technically been 2 calendar years. Within 2 years since we've talked about it, but the show came out again within the 2 calendar years.
Right.
I don't think I'm saying it in a smart way, but the point is, if you looked at it, episodes came out in 2024 and episodes came out in 2025.
Yeah, I don't think it's got anything to do with the way you're saying it, making it sound smart. I just think inherently it's a dumb thing. It's like my dumb joke that I love to do at the end of the year on New Year's Eve. I'm like, hey, see you next year.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened, because this came out like December, so it did feel like a 2026 release, kind of, but not technically.
No, not technically. Technically, it's 2025. Bringing 2025 energy back into 2026. It's gonna be a long year.
You were saying that, and I'm like, oh, well, it won't be that long of a wait till we get to New Vegas if they do what you say. And I'm like, I guess it's the same wait.
Oh my god, I would hate that so much.
It just went out of my head in between.
Yeah. I would hate that so much if by the end of the season they finally get to New Vegas, and then next season is like, oh, cool, now we're done with the whole like stand-in house, and now we actually have Justin Theroux. That's swell. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. I really don't. It's so stupid to me. Why? They should have just said Justin Theroux's in an unknown role.
Well, I mean, once the show starts, they can't do that, but yeah.
Yeah, I get that, but yeah, stupid rules.
Yeah, I'm at a loss. I'm trying to think of good things. I like that they tried to mispronounce Caesar to obfuscate whether it was Roman or not.
Yeah.
I liked the moments where Lucy could say, well, I do actually know. Or when she was like, and actually, I'm not even a virgin. And she's like, that's not even counting the cousin stuff.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
The incest jokes are so good because they always come in at the weirdest time possible. And I'm just like,
I wasn't really feeling it in the fault. It was only when Lucy did it that I was like, that's funny. I was just like, oh, these guys actually want to do it. I like that the guy was like, oh, we're just here as a support group because people make fun of us for thinking these things. And they're like, sorry, so we're not going to be doing incest? We're out. And I was like,
yeah, that brother and sister combo.
Also, It is her cousin, the guy who is just taking care of someone else's baby, right? That's what she meant by the cousin.
The woman with the eye patch, the new
no,
overseer.
like the guy is her cousin. Is Lucy's cousin, right? Isn't the guy? Lucy's
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. I was a bit disappointed that they haven't really followed up on that, because that was a storyline I enjoyed in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
That they were kind of just like, no, he just takes care of the baby, and we have decided there's no interest in seeing their dynamic together again.
Yeah,
now I mean the eye patch woman and Lucy's cousin. I don't need to see Lucy and her cousin together anymore. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Yeah, I don't need
but
to
I
actually
like that
see
he
it.
had moved on and then just found another terrible situation.
Yeah.
But the show's kind of like, who cares? Now he just hangs out with the baby.
Yep. He's basically he just does all the baby labor, and while his the mother is the new Vault Seer and clearly having a power trip. Because I did like that one scene where she was like
having an argument.
She's like, "Oh yeah, if you have any other discrepancies, please report them to your Vault thing." I'm like, "You mean you?
Yeah.
My complaint is about you." It's like, yes, and we take this very seriously. That
like,
to me is
exactly
really funny.
What you need to do.
Yeah, and to me, I'm just that's really really good. It's really really funny. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, is that gonna go anywhere for that guy? Because basically, he just outed himself as an issue, and he's probably gonna end up dead. That's the Zach Cherry character, right?
No, not Zach Cherry.
No,
that's not who I was talking about. I was talking about the tall blonde.
No. I mean the complaint guy.
Oh,
the tall blonde. Yeah.
I mean, I've got to imagine they're not keeping Zach Cherry now that Severance will probably put out a new season before 5 years pass.
That's probably true. And the one character I did want to see a little bit more of, which is Dane from last season. She's the one that put the razor blades in her own boot and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you're really pushing her aside this time, and that kind of sucks.
Sorry, this is the character that seems pretty gender fluid, right?
Yes.
I just
I should have said they. Yeah.
I got that. I mean, I don't know what that person's pronouns is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to, I guess, hedge my bets here. I don't want to be insulting or dismissive. I like that character. I thought they got a lot to do during the Kumail Nanjiani episode, but obviously it's like bookending his trip as in Maximus's trip with Kumail Nanjiani's character. And I have to imagine now that Maximus is back, there's going to be more of that character, or did she die? Or did they die and I missed that?
No, he didn't die. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm like, can we have more of this character? Because this character, like I said, like
it's a
the recurring side
Maximus,
characters.
so you can. Well, it's a character who knows Maximus, so they can bring out some of that interiority from Maximus. So to your point, yeah, if they're sidelining that character, you don't get. And they are a side character. I hate to make it seem like they should just be here to be in service of our main characters, but that is kind of a function of how a character like that is written.
Yes.
And I don't think they're using it to its full potential, as you pointed out, because they're being sidelined.
Absolutely. There's just all these things where I think this season is leaning into the comedy bit a little bit more than I would have thought. Because, like...
Interesting, and I think it's not doing it enough.
Really?
Because I'm not interested, so you might as well be telling jokes.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just thinking about
swaths of whenever we're with the Maximus people. I'm like, I am just bored. I don't care about this at all.
Oh man, the whole Maximus storyline to me is boring.
And then, like after the initial thing, I wasn't really into the Macaulay Culkin people either. I was kind of like, oh my god, can we be done with this? So yeah, to me, I'm like, you could stand to do a couple more jokes per scene, because I don't feel like there's any sorry, what I should say is, I feel like on paper, yes, world building is happening, but I don't feel wrapped up in it.
Yep.
So I might as well be laughing while I'm sitting there waiting for the next scene to happen.
That's a good point. I'm specifically thinking about the Johnny Pemberton scene where he's wearing the power armor and being like, couldn't get out through the door and all that, and it just like went on for so long, and I'm like, oh man, I wish it was funnier, but you're right in the sense where if the Brotherhood stuff is going to be that boring, it might as well be funny.
Yeah.
And it's not right now. It's just like internal war politics, conflict, and all that kind of stuff. This kind of sucks.
I mean, Maximus is in the room, but he's not truly driving anything, so I just feel like it's a waste of time.
Yeah,
he can't be second fiddle again this season, but just with new people.
Right. And that's unfortunately what they've done, because it's like, cool, you have your board of directors meeting, which is representing all the factions, and he's there, but it's just like, yeah, you're still a part, like you're not fully doing your own story and all that kind of stuff, because his character is basically a coward in the sense where he's like, yeah, I'm just going to do what other people want me to do. And that does suck. They
haven't, in the first 4 episodes of this season, put him in enough situations to test that cowardice. I feel like I'm watching him just listening, or I feel like there was like a ceremony going on, and these guys were kind of disrespecting it, and I feel like Maximus looked annoyed, but he eventually did something, but I was just like, I'm just watching him watch things and not act really and make a choice.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating given this isn't the first season.
Yeah.
So
and
he should be further along.
It's frustrating too, because you get to see more of his backstory and what happened to the New California Republic. And the nuke that went off and his parents and all that kind of stuff. Like, that was interesting to me. Like,
that's episode 2, right?
Like, spend more time there, show us where he came from.
Yeah,
and
like maybe this season is his background instead of the ghouls.
Maybe, but it's not.
I'm saying that should have been the case. I know it obviously is not the case, because we are almost doubling down on backstory with ghouls.
Yeah. Because I will say that Aaron Moten, his acting in this role, I don't know where it is. Like, he comes from Juilliard. I'm sure he's a good actor and all that kind of stuff. But like, the faces and the cuts and the shots that they're choosing for him, they just make him look stupid.
Yeah, I would say the show's not doing him any favors in terms of like editing or direction. Also, you've removed him from the characters we like seeing him with.
Yes.
So nothing is going well. And yeah, like, there's a lot to be said about chemistry. And so when you remove that actor from a scene part, maybe they don't like each other anymore, but they had good chemistry, him and Ella Purnell, and they're not together now. So you're kind of like, oh, well, I guess... we're really hoping we find the character that he's good around, but then he killed Kumail Nanjiani. I'm never gonna not bring that up.
Yeah, and so like, cool, they have a civil war now. That's swell. That's great. I think the only thing that's interesting from his character's progress in this season, or whatever you want to call it, is that it seems like his emptiness through the pursuit of power is kind of what they're hinting at, in the sense where he was much better with Lucy and wandering the wastelands and all that kind of stuff and all that kind of stuff, and not in the pursuit of power, because remember at the end of season 1 he just kind of falls into it. It's like, oh, you're our new master now because you killed this person, so our rules dictate this, and he just kind of was like, okay, cool, I get power now. And then it's devoid of everything, and maybe that is what they're trying to do, because this is clearly looking at the whole aspect of like, okay, what Vault Tech did, what all those other people did, they're all it's all pursuit of power and capitalism and all that kind of stuff. And are they saying it's an empty kind of thing? Well, yeah, we already knew that. So why are we going through his character again? And I'm just like, unless they're like, oh yeah, his character needed to learn that. I'm like, oh god, that sucks.
See, this is what I mean, it got negative at the end, but this is what I was hoping for. Was that you left the show and you were going to highlight these things because it certainly wasn't going to be me. Because you're saying it, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I just I'm not enjoying my time with it.
Yeah, because I don't think it's being done well at all. It's just like, even for his character to even say like, I don't know, I just kind of wing everything that I do. I'm just like, what? Like, and this is
I didn't believe him when he said that, but also he's not on screen long enough for me to care if it was true or not.
Yeah, like Dane, the person, like Dane has more of a plan than he does, and I was like, this is why I'm like, why aren't we following Dane's character? This sucks.
I mean, I'm still hopeful that Dane is going to be a big part of the second half.
I'd like to think so. I'd hope so, but
yeah, well, we'll know soon enough. But it's kind of a bummer. I don't generally like doing episodes like this where I just don't like the thing, but I just found myself being put off by the first two episodes and then having highlights in 3 and 4, but not enough for me to be like, yeah, I like this.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I don't think it helps that the showrunners have, or whoever the writers have revealed through interviews is like, yeah, the Ghoul and Lucy are gonna rub off on each other at the end of the season. I'm like, that's what they did last season, though. What?
I think that's the first thing where you see him tied up, and she's not going to shoot him down, and she is, but she wants to prove a point. I'm just like, just the bonus is the way they wrote it. We get the funny thing where she actually thinks she can just ask them straight up, hey, would you just let us do this? That is funny, but it did make me be like, he should have rubbed off on you more. By the way. Like, I don't believe that you're still having these types of debates. This is about survival at this point. Like, there needs to be a better setup for that kind of questioning. Because I just found myself being like, just shoot him down. What are you doing? This is stupid. Because
I'm just like,
ultimately,
at that point,
you need to shoot him down anyway. They're not going to untie him. Even if they're like, yeah, fine, we'll give you the thing or whatever. Just shoot him down. And then ask them. The thing is, the Ghoul's point being like, you're not helping them by like maiming them instead of killing them. Meaning the whole point of that was more she's trying to prove they don't have to kill everybody.
Yep.
And he's like, I don't give a fuck, just shoot me down. And I'm like, yeah, just do that part and then have your conversation.
Yeah. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's just like, okay, I feel like the showrunners are convinced that they're like, that the audience, us, wants to see Ella Purnell do that beat because she was so good at it in season 1. The okie dokie, the whole naivety and the innocence and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, by the end of season 1, though, you killed off a significant part of that, especially when the fact that, hey, it's your dad that's evil and doing all this stuff and all that kind of stuff. You think that would have killed so much more of that naivety.
My dad, who's not a good guy, I'm like, I don't know. If you're going to invoke it, maybe show that it has some effect on her instead of, like you said, just having her act like she always does.
Because that to me is what is enjoyable about it. It's like, yeah, Ella Purnell's doing a great job. But if you're making her do the same things over and over and over again, we're going to think differently very, very quickly. Especially for her character. Like, actually, actually very, very immediately. So I'm just like, to me, I'm like, please push her character to do different things. Like, the whole aspect of, like, she's got to prove a point to the Ghoul with the woman that gets attacked by the rad scorpions and all that kind of stuff.
So she saves the woman instead of the Ghoul.
Yeah.
Interesting in theory, but in practice, I was just kind of like, fuck you. Just
what
are you doing?
It's stupid to me because I'm just like,
she's not.
You already know the ghoul can't die like that. So it's just like, this isn't really one of those situations where, like, yeah, okay, well, you both have an even chance of survival, but depending on who you choose and all that. I'm like, we know the ghoul, like, at this point in the story is like over 150 years old and all that kind of stuff, and can continuously survive. So like, why is this not even a debate?
Die without it. It's not a debate, but I just feel like her actions afterward made it feel like she wasn't just doing it because that's the obvious answer. She was doing it to twist a knife on him, and I'm like, I don't want that. Like, if you're going to just do it to save her, then just do it to save her, not to show him that he's not in control.
Yeah,
because I don't know. It's interesting beat, but I found myself annoyed with it.
Oh yeah, I very much agree with you on that. I mean, I'm glad that at the end of this recording, we're not going to try to rate what we've seen so far. I know that we're not going to do that because it's not going to be a fun exercise for either one of us, and that question is going to be asked towards the end of the season, where, like I said, I'm probably going to watch the whole season just to have continuity and all those kind of things. But at the end of the day, what I'm seeing so far out of the first 4 episodes, I'm like, please condense that into 2. If you condense that into 2 and then made a 2-episode launch for this season, I would have been very having a very different opinion, I think, because there's so much fluff in these 4 episodes that I don't think needs to happen.
To be fair, we're doing this as a 4-episode thing, and you still don't feel good about it.
Yeah, but at least with, like, if they can, what I'm saying is condense all the story that they had in these 4 episodes into 2 episodes. Yeah, fair. So we'd be further along by now. And we'd still be reviewing episode 3 and 4, a part of this episode.
But more stuff would have.
But there would have been more things that happened. Absolutely.
All right, fair enough. I don't know. I'm hoping that second half of this really kicks into gear, because to me, like, it just feels like you didn't have enough story. And like you said, if they are like, no, we don't get to New Vegas until the end of this, then it does feel like, well, I feel like you were teasing this at the end of the first season, so why are we taking a whole season to get there? So let's hope you're wrong about that.
I genuinely hope I'm wrong about that, because this, like you said earlier, this would genuinely be a filler season. To which case, they're not achieving it. Like, you can have filler stuff, but, like, make it so there's character growth. Don't betray the character growth you did in season 1 just for the okie dokie moments and all those kind of things. It's just, you can still have that innocence in different situations, and that would still play out as well. But in these kind of situations,
for her to have the innocence, like the one thing she was working towards was already spit in her face.
Yeah.
So there's now time to see what anger from someone who's been sheltered looks like.
Yes, and manipulated and all that kind of stuff, because they are finding more about the Vault program, and it's just the idea of, like, and you're right, no innocence, because at that point it's just like, if your whole life was a lie, how do you maintain that innocence? How do you maintain that optimism?
Like, that's what I'm saying, like, that whole, like, it's a funny line of, like, oh yeah, like, we're going after my dad, who's a terrible person. I'm like, you're acting like that you're just talking about some guy. Like,
yeah.
That was your life for so long. You really trusted him and believed in him. You went on a whole journey in season 1 only to have that, like, get smacked in the face with, like, oh no, he's a bad guy. And then the next time I see you talking about him, you're acting like, was it that crazy? And I'm like, I don't know. There's room for you to be upset and still find humor in how angry she is or how frustrated she is, if they want comedy beats. But it is, as I said up top, it doesn't feel like they've progressed. You said that up top, and I was agreeing with you, and also feeling like it looks like they just want to have the okie dokie moments, but they're not putting them in interesting spots to have those moments again and have it not feel like we're just playing the hits.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit disappointed in these 4 episodes. I truly, truly am, and I am very disappointed because I loved season 1 so much, and then now it's just like,
I mean,
oh
yeah.
no. Like the thing I found most interesting because like I said, I didn't finish New Vegas, but I did play it. Where I'm like, oh wow, the set design here is amazing because this is the literal set of the drive-in theater.
Mm-hmm.
In the game, and I'm just like, that's really, really cool. But aside from set pieces, costume design, all that kind of stuff, the writing of it's not strong, and that to me is unfortunate.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that I had an issue with in season 1 in particular was the whole, they wanted it to be an alternate timeline, but then had characters actively be like, well, we still hate black people, we still hate native people, and I'm like, so it's not that different. And then what? So how is this black woman the head of this? And I'm not saying that could never happen, but it doesn't feel like the show is willing to get into that,
right?
And so then it just feels like colorblind casting,
yes,
which is fine, but then it's awkward when you're like, but it's still a universe where she would be hated.
Right.
And you're like, oh, then you can't do colorblind casting there. You got to actually engage with what you've done there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I very, very much agree with that criticism of season 1. But
then season 2, like the more we're like expanding, I'm like, if we're doing more with him before he was a ghoul, this is the time to deal with that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Instead, what they're trying to do is like, oh yeah, we're not racist in terms of race, but we are against mutants, and that's the bigotry and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, it's not working. I don't like it.
There's also very much like the Red Scare. Like she even says, why would they have commies in this vault? And I'm like, see, like none of this stuff for the aesthetically set up is gone. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's like Fantastic Four first steps where the aesthetic is there, but very obviously it's not a segregated world they live in.
Right.
This Fallout one is like, no, all that shit's still here. We're just not going to deal with it for certain characters.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird.
Like, there's a South Asian woman who also seems to have a bit of... She's a bit more clandestine, and that feels at least a bit better. But, like, to have that black woman out in the open... and they're like, and you're gonna spy on your wife, and I'm just like... She has all this power, and no one is like... Maybe they're gonna get to it, but I just like, even if it was racially motivated that they wanted to go after her, and then he just uncovered the real shit she was doing, but it doesn't feel like that. They just already know, like, oh, she's just in charge of like all these companies conspiring against humans.
Yep,
to sell their vaults, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yep. That was definitely a bad beat from season 1. That I didn't like.
Yeah, and since we're not doing anything new, I'm stuck with it. They just keep doubling down on the whole. No, there's racial tension and political tension the same way there was back then.
Yep.
For this '60s aesthetic they're trying to pull off. So, like, so then it just looked kind of futuristic, but that's the only alternate thing. And
yeah,
they did some colorblind casting. Yeah,
retro futurism and all that kind of stuff, but. Yeah, it's making some interesting decisions, which is, again, why I go into the idea of, like, I only liked Fallout 3. Because I don't think the Fallout games... I don't think Bethesda, as a video game studio, is actually good. I just think...
No, it's a terrible place.
Yeah, it's a terrible, terrible place. They're not good. Starfield will prove that. But it's the idea that this... game was revolutionary when Fallout 3 came out, and that was like the PS4 generation and all that kind of stuff, in which case it's like, yeah, this is really, really good. However, you bring it now forward to this, and that's again why I didn't finish New Vegas or Fallout 4, is the idea that I'm like, this is the exact same skin with the exact same game with reskins and all that kind of stuff. What's the point of playing this if it wasn't that I was so deathly obsessed with lore stories and trying to put together that puzzle? I'm never going to do that
They
stuff
gotcha.
because YouTube exists. Someone
Oh,
else
there you go.
out there is going to, put out a YouTube video that explains the whole lore of Fallout. And then I could just watch that instead of playing a video game where I could get like 3 hours between lore beats that connect together. I don't have that kind of attention span. So it's just like, no, I want to kill monsters. The one good thing about this season, they're like, cool, we got a death claw. That's great. That's awesome because that's such a big part of the game and they're so crazy and dangerous. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, or is there a point to this, or is it just, again, set design, all that kind of stuff, right? Which is great in its own right, but not good storytelling at the end of the day.
We'll see. I'm gonna reserve judgment on whether or not it was good storytelling until I see episode 8.
Yeah.
Because even though they're doing this week by week, it is very clearly just an 8-hour movie they chopped up.
Yeah. That's very much how I feel about this. I'm just like, why are we doing this week to week? This just makes me feel annoyed now. Because the way they've written it is just with the idea of wanting to tell a story for the whole season. And like, this will be a heavy criticism of season 2 no matter what. I'm like, why did you revert Lucy back to the innocence that she had once she got out of the vault in season 1? Like, that makes no sense to me. She's been through so much shit already. And she learned so much about her dad and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, why are we still doing these same things? Like, have her be a little bit more angry.
I think they're all doing things that just feel like leftover from season 1.
Because
they're not moving forward enough for me.
Yeah, like the one episode where she does go a little bit AWOL and all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, yeah, but it's the stim pack that did that. Because the stim pack increases aggression and all that kind of stuff. That's how the drug works. And so to me, I'm just like, then that wasn't even her. That was just the influence of drugs. That's shitty. That's really, really shitty.
Agreed.
But, yeah.
You have anything else you want to say about these first 4 episodes?
I hope the whole storyline with Maximus and the Brotherhood of Steel actually goes somewhere, because it's just so boring to me. It's so incredibly boring. But yeah.
Well, personally, I don't care, but we'll stick with it. We'll see how it goes. It could. I think things could turn around. I'm hopeful things turn around.
I hope so too. Because at this point, I'm just like, okay, the last piece of the puzzle is just like what made. Not the last piece of the puzzle is the one thing is like, okay, what made Ghoul the way he is right now?
Well, this season is not interested in that for us so far.
I don't think it's going to be interested in it until the end of the season and all that kind of stuff. In which case, I'm just like, oh, does that mean that his wife detonated the bomb in the first bomb and all that kind of stuff, started the whole war and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, to me, that's just a foregone conclusion. I don't like if they're holding on to that for like a shocker. I'm just like, I don't know. You just showed her in the first season at the head of a table being like, we're going to do this so we can sell Vault.
Yeah.
So then it would be a real bummer if they were holding on to that as a surprise for later. That like because I feel like he already suspects that she's doing fucked up things.
Yeah. And what's that called? Dramatic irony, where we know stuff that the characters don't know, and I'm just like,
but I'm arguing the character knows too.
Yeah, the character should know this because he's lived it, and it's been so long and all this kind of stuff. So it's just like, what the hell? Like it's so doesn't. I don't know. It's just not. It's not. It doesn't have the same steam that season 1 has. I
did like when Lucy was like, you call me naive? Are you looking for your family that's been dead for like 200 or like that was like out here for like 200 years? I was like, yeah, that's good stuff.
That's good stuff.
I like that.
Yeah.
But I also did like when she's like, why am I what you were talking about, the drug stuff, when she was like, why am I so irritable? He's like, you're on drugs.
Yeah.
Like, oh, damn it.
And to me, I think the interesting thing about the universe of Fallout is that each vault had different social experiments run on them, right? And to me, I'm like, well, these main characters, we're not going to watch them go towards every single vault and reveal every single like social experiment that they did or anything like that. But I do wish that they do encounter other vaults at some point to be like figuring
I guess
that
the
part
idea
out.
is then like how are you gonna get them out of there? Like I don't know. It does. I as a joke, I liked that when the new people came into the vault, they were kind of like, well, things are usually on the left. She's like, okay, well then just do everything opposite of what you did in your vault.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, that's funny, but then they're kind of just like, oh, that's that then. We're moving on. And I was like, well, as you said, you would expect that in the second season they would expand and show what life is like in other vaults to a bigger degree. But it was like, well, so far the only thing we've focused on is that people just had things on a different side.
Yeah, and
it didn't change their life
at
all.
And what they're focusing now is on the factions of the civil wars between the New California, the NCR, the Brotherhood of Steel, as well as the friggin' the Legion faction and all that kind of stuff.
That's where Camille Nanjiani came from, right?
No, the Legion stuff is the Macaulay Culkin stuff. Camille Nanjiani is another faction of the Brotherhood of Steel. Because they have like different posts all across.
Now, and I realize I just was like, I don't care. I thought Legion was just another Brotherhood name.
Yeah, it's
not. It is not.
A liaison to the Commonwealth of Brotherhood of Steel. So
I could not.
It's whatever chapter.
I'm not being dismissive to you, but as you say it, I'm just like, I'm sorry.
No, I know you're not being dismissive towards me. I know it's very much like, Brotherhood stuff. And that's exactly how I feel.
Especially since there's like 3 characters we liked from the first season. I'm like, I don't really need to now feel like I have to know this Brotherhood stuff.
Yeah. I really, really don't, unless like we're... And really all they're doing is playing homage to the game, because that's like stuff you run into in the game and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, like, but we're watching a show, we're not playing a game. So like either make it actually interesting by adding human stories to it, or like really the exposition is completely fine in that regard. Like it's a weird position that I'm in right now, because I'm just like, oh man. Because at this point, I'm like, the one thing that would be interesting, I genuinely think this would be interesting, is if they actually explored the Chinese soldiers and their side of the war and the Sino-American war that caused this all in the first place. I think that would be interesting. But to me, it very clearly does not want to engage in that. The commie side of things.
Well, let's hope season 3 brings something interesting like that.
Yeah, but I mean that would legitimately be interesting to see like what is their perspective in this Sino-American war.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who truly enjoyed this, and they should get in touch with us and let us know what we're missing. We are at TDF Spoiled on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Lemonade, and YouTube. You can email spoiledpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to hear older episodes, you can go on any podcast platform of your choice or go to tdfeverything.com/spoiledrotten and find all of our different coordinates. Thank you very much. Oh, I should say, we will be doing episode 5 next week, episode 6 the week after, and then we'll probably do Wonder Man. So yeah, that's the upcoming schedule, and 7 and 8 will be together as one episode. If you're interested. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
This has been a TDF Everything production, brah.